Classic tune right there. Brother Ashahed, you still there with us? Mic check, 1 2 1 2. As the Jews jingle from the hot young and single little stunt. A 4D in the blunt. Oh my God, that was one of the only albums to get them 5 mics from the source. Like my brother Hezekiah says, when the source was legit. Brother, we got Brother Ashahed back on the line.
Yeah, I'm here. You sound much better now. I think you can hear me better now, right?
Yeah, beautiful, brother, beautiful. Man, you remember those times, brother?
Oh, absolutely. I've been singing it the entire time. I was trying to, contain myself. I hadn't heard it in a while.
I know, man. That verse, man, when Pooh-Bah bust that last verse, I was like, man, this brother made that whole thing sound like a romance, didn't he? He's wicked with it. Well, welcome right back to Video Mix, brother. And, we left off on the other side. We were talking about the Final Call newspaper and your role there. Now, I know that recently, Portland, Oregon, I think it took place, right? The Final Call got some very special awards, right?
Oh, absolutely. The Final Call, we're a part of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, and basically it's the Black Press Consortium, and it's over 200 black newspapers across the United States, really, really historic news gathering instruments. And so the Final Call this year, we won several awards. We won an award in the youth department for the best youth columnist. Yes. We won awards for best layout and design in the category that we were in, and we also won for best editorial and best editorial and best column writing. So those are very, very important. It sends the message to me that what we're talking about in our editorial content, what we're talking about in, I'm sorry, I'm in the city, I'm in the mix, so you hear the sirens in the background.
Chirac, huh, brother?
It's authentic. It's like that. But it says to me that our content and the way we report and the integrity with which we report the news is respected by our peers, and so we were very honored to win those awards from the National Newspapers Publishers Association, and to have the opportunity to manifest that and show it to in deference to the hard work of the brothers and sisters across the United States of America who put the Final Call in the hands of the public.
Absolutely. And let me tell you something why one of those awards is really special for us down here. It's because the editorial that was written by the editor-in-chief, Brother Richard Muhammad, which was about Haiti. And, being here in Miami and South Florida, as a matter of fact, at the beginning of the show, we had a guest from the Little Haiti Optimist Club that was on the show. And Brother Richard's article, or the column that he wrote, was dealing with the disparity in the talk about Haiti versus the money and the action about Haiti. You want to talk maybe a minute or so on that, and then we'll jump into some other things?
Well, absolutely. We really like to react to things, but we don't like to be proactive. And, we all owe a debt of gratitude to Haiti. The first, republic, the Black Republic, they fought against the enemy colonizers and overthrew them and took them out and then kicked them out. And so we all, no matter where we are, we owe a debt of gratitude to those who, the descendants of those who threw off the yoke of colonialism. And so as a result, though, Haiti is suffering. They haven't forgotten, and they still put blockades and sanctions, and they do what they can in order to stop the people from benefiting from the wealth that exists there. So we don't want to be, we want to make sure that we will shine a spotlight on those who are trying to get in there and usurp the wealth and misuse the people. We're not going to allow that to happen. And as you know, Minister Farrakhan paid for the water filtration system to go over there to the people. And so we're consistently trying to work and trying to help, and we won't allow people to present the narrative that the people of Haiti are always looking for a handout and don't want to do anything. We know that they are proud people. And so Brother Richard, he has a special affinity for the Haitian people, and he's gone down there and traveled before. And last time he was down there, we didn't know if he was going to come back. He loved it so much. And that's right. To the people. So that's what our job is. Our job is to tell the story that nobody else will tell, or that they're afraid to tell. The Final Call doesn't take any outside advertising. We're not corporate control, so we don't have anybody that is looking over us saying, say this and say that. We're the ultimate whistleblower, and if you're misusing our people and oppressing them, we're going to tell you about it. And that's why the people love us and trust the Final Call and what we print.
Man, alhamdulillah. Thank you for that, bro. Matter of fact, let me take a moment of personal privilege so that I can send a big shout and a big assalamu alaikum to our dear brother, student minister down here in South Florida, brother Patrick Muhammad, who is also of Haitian descent. And you should, I mean, I know you know the brother, and when he gets down, moi-même c'est haïtien, tout brother Hasham, c'est haïtien moi-même. In other words, I'm Haitian, you know. Brother, like,
yeah, I know.
Brother, like, you flipped the script.
And he's got that same warrior spirit too. We all know that too, my brother Patrick Muhammad. That's right.
That's right, brother. So a big respect to and all the believers that from number 2 to 29 to all across the Central and South America that are fasting, getting ready to break your fast. We don't have a lot of time, brother. I could talk to you so much, but I would be so remiss if we didn't jump right into what's going on with that cover story of the Final Call newspaper, which is entitled God and Hip Hop, and your take on it, and what was the inspiration, and why don't you give us the quick 30 seconds on it, and I got some questions I want to ask you.
Okay, well, I've always, written about hip-hop. I was a child or a teenager right at that perfect time, which is considered the golden age of hip-hop, the late 80s and early 90s. And so, a lot of the different people during that period of time, anybody who knows that the Nation of Islam, the voice of Minister Farrakhan, was fully embedded in the consciousness of hip-hop. I mean, you heard lyrics from Minister Farrakhan and speeches and references to prominent books and titles of books in those days, like you would hear reference to a prominent car brand or clothing brand or popular liquor today. That's how prevalent it was. And so it was a different time, and consciousness was really, really high. And so recently we had Jay Electronica, who was a highly anticipated rapper. People have heard some of his songs.
For sure.
Like, when's Jay Electronica gonna come out? He's hot. He's a registered Muslim. He was registered here in several mosques across the United States, and at one point he was and a member of the Nation of Gods and Earth.
Right.
5%ers. And so, on July 12th, he performed at the legendary Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, and I mean, it was really powerful. He emerged with a FOI uniform, wearing, the full FOI uniform that people see, with brothers who were in uniform, and also the FOI from Muhammad Mosque number 7 and 7C, the elite drill team, in fact, the championship drill team.
Wow.
And so they were there, and, he turned it out. And also, at one point, Jay-Z came out and joined them, and Jay-Z took off the medallion, which has the universal flag of the 5%ers, the sun, the moon, the 7, the sun, the moon, and the star, and he put it on Jay Electronica's neck. So those of us who were there, we know the significance and symbolism involved in that. And it took a lot of people's minds back to a time when it was, it was common to see brothers and members of the nation present with people in hip-hop, and it was a real close communication. And while Minister Farrakhan has maintained his relationship with the hip-hoppers, I mean, Minister Farrakhan is basically a hip-hop star, really. I mean,
that's
he's
right,
on so
brother.
many albums. They love him. Every time you turn around, you see Mr. Farrakhan's here with Rick Ross. He's here with Mos Def. Yasin Bey. He's here. Nas just made a song about him. But the connection has not been necessarily maintained throughout all levels. So it was strong to see the brothers with Jay Electronica, with Jay-Z in the mix, and for a whole generation of youngsters, they don't have that in their consciousness. So it sent them into a whole nother level mentally. And now they're searching for people such as the Poor Righteous Teachers and Lord Jamar and things like that. And through the article, I hope to make that connection, because hip hop is different than regular musical genres. I can like the same songs that my son or daughter. I have an 18-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son, but they can like the same songs that I like. It's not like it was in the back in the day when you listening to something, and it's obviously it's like Nat King Cole or something, and it's great and you respect it, but it's not it's from a different time era. So we're just trying to make that connection and do it, and we can do it, and I think that was a powerful demonstration.
Absolutely. And in fact, and in reading the article, there was I know that there was so much to cover, and I applaud you for being able to cover so much in the time that you did. Those few words that you had. And there's and I can it was almost like reading it. You mentioned before that you like to write in such a way that people feel like they were there. Like,
yes.
I felt it. I felt like I was there. In the same respect, I also felt your desire to want to put more in there, especially as you talked about the symbolism of the FOI uniform, the symbolism of Jay-Z wearing the 7 Moon and Star medallion on, and what was going on in that. And you mentioned in there your conversation with Lord Jamar. You weren't able to go into it a whole lot, but Lord Jamar, who's with Brand Nubian, the video right before, talk a little bit about some of the things you wanted to put in the article with Lord Jamar that you weren't able to.
Well, you know, Lord Jamar weighed in on all the stuff. You know, I mean, everybody knows he's been highly critical of some of the, you know, the directions that have been taken by some prominent hip hoppers. You know, it's a highly publicized, you know, controversy about the, you know, men wearing the skirts and the fashions and things like that. So I would have liked to get into that a little bit more. You know, I talked to Lord Jamar, and I could tell you he didn't have no problem really with Jay-Z. You know, it was some controversy about Jay-Z wearing the, you know, the universal flag, not only from black people and those within the 5%ers cipher who wanted to know if he had acknowledged the 120 lessons, but it was also white people had mixed feelings and controversy regarding seeing him wearing that because, you know, of the controversy, 5%ers being the gang, you know, Yakub, Devils, this, that, and the other. So they were kind of scared about it. So it was really important, but I really didn't have a chance to get into that. In fact, you know, he and Wesley both weighed in on it, and I hope to cover that in another future article. As you know, anybody who's followed the nation, you know, I didn't get a chance to get into the 1997 Rappers Pledge when all the rappers came here to Chicago and met with the minister at the palace, and you know, and right after Notorious Big got killed, I couldn't get into that. I couldn't get into the West Coast. I mean, this one really was focused on the 5%ers because it was in Brooklyn. It was the 5% reality, and that's what we were dealing with. But you know, you had Cam. You know, Cam was straight up FOI soldier from the West Coast. You know, and you know, different individuals. Ren from the NWA joined the ranks at a point. You had the Lynch Mob. You know, Gorillas in the Mist. Did you know? I
remember reading in the Final Call newspaper that Rappin' Forte had joined the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, you know, I heard that too. I'm doing some research on because I'm trying to get everybody who had a brush and get them in there because I don't want to leave out anybody. You know, everybody's contribution is important, but you just got limited space right there. And you know, I heard from some of the sisters, Brother Ashahed, you know, women was in it too. You know, so I got to go down there. I got to write another article dealing with ISIS and all the Queen Latifahs and all the people in the
brother, I hear a book, brother.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, you got it, man. If I could get it before they all take me out for leaving them out.
For
but
sure.
No, on the real, it was good though, and so you're right about that. It was a lot I wanted to really get into and explore, but you know, we touched on it, and then we'll revisit it again.
Excellent. Now, you know, flipping the script and going to the other side of the world. No, let's not go to the other side of the world yet. There's recently, man, and I don't know if you were on a radio show, but I think I saw it on your Twitter. There was a tweet that was bigging you up or somebody about an interview with Eric Garner recently on WVON. Were you on there?
It wasn't. Yeah, I was actually, what it was I was on the Reporters Roundtable this morning on WVON here in Chicago.
Okay.
And they have a weekly roundtable, and that came up. Eric Garner came up, and of course his funeral was last night, and everybody's been talking about this, just the latest in a sad saga of people whose lives their lives have been exterminated and wiped out because the value of black life and people of color, Latinos, etc. is being devalued, and we're being dehumanized. It's easy to kill us and beat us.
Let me tell you, man. I got my homeboy, right, Money Mark, who is I don't know if you remember the song "Take It to the House," Trick Daddy, Money Mark. You know, play we take it to the house. I mean, a classic stadium jam for sports arenas. Well, that's one of the home team over here, Money Mark. Mark called me yesterday, Brother Ashahed, and was like, man, Brother Faisal, we got to do something, man. Because he was visiting down here from Atlanta, and he was pulled over by Broward Sheriff's Office. And for those who don't know, Broward Sheriff's Office was actually the beginning of cops. Like, cops wasn't going around the country. It was when they first started, bad boys. Like, Inner Circle is right around the corner from here. The group that did that song, their studio is right there. And so anyhow, Mark was down here in the weekend, and he said, we got to do something, because he was pulled over by a BSO cop for no reason. And the cop was holding on to his gun. He had his children in the car. He said the over-aggressiveness of the police was startling to him, and he's like, man, I got to do something about that. And so I'm saying that to say, in your writing, and as you being somebody who's watching the trends, do you see an increase in police brutality around the country right now, something that can actually be quantified?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think that what you're seeing is you have a mixture. You have the increase in profiling. Just the other day, an article came out that said that the Newark Police Department, I think it was Newark or someplace in New Jersey, but 75% of their pedestrian stops were determined to be unconstitutional. You know, you've heard about the stop and frisk in New York. They've had huge rallies about how many stop and frisk incidents they had of black and Latinos in New York. And you know, in Florida, that's where you had our brother, you know, several controversial killings where people just pulled out and killed our young brothers.
Yeah, Trayvon Martin lived around the corner from me.
Absolutely, Trayvon Martin, and then you also have, you know, like on the West Coast, you just had the sister getting beat down on the side of the road by the LAPD, you know, department. And then with the thing about Eric Garner, he didn't even resist. I mean, if you look at the video, he was a big enough brother that if he wanted to resist, it would have been a problem for those officers. He was big, but he didn't even try to resist. They wouldn't have had a chance to get him down otherwise. But it's just another example, and we're going to have to do something. And, you know, I might have to take a trip down to Florida, brother, and do some of my investigative reporting. So I hope if I do that, because it's just too much. And I want to come down there and maybe see what's happening on that. And, you know, maybe we can do some more to quantify it and get some actual stats, brother. But I definitely know that we're almost weekly we're getting reports and calls that things are happening in that way, because black people are being dehumanized and their lives are being wiped out. Their life is worth very little.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of our biggest viewerships is actually inside the prisons. So, I mean, they run video mix all day in the prisons down here.
Nice.
And,
nice.
And as a result, you know, a lot of these cats, this is the only opportunity that they get to get some information, you know, outside of what's being controlled going in on the inside, man. So we appreciate you for what you're doing and your commitment towards recording and bringing news out the way you do, because a people with no history is like a tree with no roots, you know? You're going to disappear. Right. So in saying that, brother Ashahed, we got about another minute or so. You got any parting words you want to leave us with? Anything you want us to keep in mind?
All I would ask the people to do is to subscribe to the Final Call newspaper, digital and in print. The digital subscription is at digital.finalcall.com. And if you see any of the brothers who are in the city, across Florida or anywhere, support them and get the Final Call. Support independent news that tells your stories.
Absolutely. Oh, man, I'm about to open up a can. I was like, we didn't even talk about the letter written in the Final Call newspaper by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan on the whole Jay Electronica, Jay-Z performance. But, you know, we can't cover everything in this particular time, but we'll leave that for people to go and check it out for themselves. Finalcall.com, right?
That's right. That's exactly where they should go and talk about it. Not only was it to Jay Electronica, but really it was guidance for everybody. It really is a lot in it, what he wrote. So, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Good guidance right there, my brother.
Absolutely, man. The publisher of the Final Call is the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, so you like work for the man of God. That's all right.
What's up, man? Hey, that's right, brother. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
What kind of job is that? That's not a job, man. That sounds like heaven, brother.
Not at all, man. It's not. It's really, I love doing that. Sometimes I have to look around and realize that this is something that I do, and that's why I take it so seriously, brother. There's a lot of people who would like to have the opportunity to do it, and I have the opportunity, so I do what I can to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to.
Well, give thanks to God, man. You mentioned Nas just a little bit earlier, and since you threw the brother's name out there, he's also one of my favorites, man. So we're gonna go off into a video, brother Ashahed. It's the 9 o'clock hour. I guess we might as well wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, dear brother, for checking in, and everybody that's out there, we love you, man. Hotep, Alafia, Barghani, Assalamu alaikum. This is Nas, surviving the times. Survive these times, man. Keep your head up. Peace.
What would I do if I could feel? I was young,